Ton of killer information in this one. Make sure to stay to the very end to get all your money's worth out of this one. And if you really want to spend some money, we got a coupon code 10xmas, link below for the awesome real estate courses. Thanks for watching in advance. Let's go. This time, we're coming to you to analyze a flip. Let's find out if they were noobs or if they were pros. Things you should watch out when you're buying real estate. Let's go check it out. Oh, let's get the specs on this place first. This place sold for $560,000. Halloween 2017. It's a 1920s Craftsman, and it was 1956 square feet when it last sold. Now, it's listed as a single family house with 2 rental units, 200 square feet larger, and it's listed for $1.3 million. Well, 1.299, but you know how that goes. Let's go find out if they're noobs or pros. And look, being a noob isn't necessarily a bad thing. Look, everybody makes mistakes, right? Bundle the keys when agents go to show houses? Come on. Not that one. Not that one. Got it. Don't even fit in the box. All right, let's figure this out. Extra pro tip on stuff like this, I like to lock the door behind me. It's just so weird when you're in busy areas and people think it's, oh, I thought it was an open house, and they just walk in behind you. Come on, what made you think it was an open house? First things first, let's turn the lights on. That's the light for outside. I have no idea how to turn this light on. Which is the first light that you get when you come in. There we go, okay. So not uncommon with the 1920s Craftsman, they left the original wood windows. The problem is when they're painted like this, they're usually very difficult to operate. So the trick is not painting the tracks where the wood is, because there's no lock on this, but the paint is locking it right now. Somebody's coming up. Oh my. How's it going?
Good, how are you doing? It's
Good.
Kevin?
Yeah, Kevin, what's up?
That's Christian.
Yeah, the dude literally just tried walking in. I opened the door, cracked it open, and I put my foot behind the door to sort of stop it, and he just steps in and I'm like, no, sorry. Like, no, not happening. The pulleys are there, no locks in place. They're literally all painted shut. But the reason they do this on these older properties is because if you pull permits for a renovation like this, you better not replace these windows with dual pane windows unless you go through the historical guidelines and you get like the special dual pane windows they want, basically the wood dual pane windows, which are like 5 times the cost. Okay, maybe not that much, but it sounds better, right? Doors, dig the style. I dig that they went with the 2-panel Craftsman and this bronzed hardware. These look like Baldwin's, Schlags, that's fine too. Very nice, but noob mistake, as I open this door, just little things to check. It ain't that hard. I love the style idea, really like that. Something like that probably just didn't come up when they double checked the work. You know, people come, they check on doors, and they go, all right, nice, looks good, opens and closes nice. Right, but does it open all the way? What is this? This is odd. So we have this sort of side door here, but there's no handle. Yeah, that's just odd to me. Just a pro tip, install your thresholds after so you can actually put the flooring under it. But you see the whole door jamb is actually about an inch below this, which is probably why we're seeing the rubbing on this door. Because, well, they just threw this flooring on top of the subfloor that was here. Oh, man. So something like this kind of bothers me. So look at this. This is such a beautiful tile. I mean, this is expensive. It might not be your taste. It's more custom. People are trying to make statements these days, but so like, this is expensive. They're not cheap. I always like to look for lips or kind of here for loose tiles. It's not too bad. They did a pretty dang good job on the tiling here. But the first thing that catches your eye when you walk into the bathroom isn't the tiling. It's this sort of molding that they tried to sort of bondo and touch up, but now it looks like it has like leather skin. I don't know, maybe they were trying to match the glass or something, but it would be easy to replace this molding to make it look nice, like this door. This door is beautiful. Also, I like the shower. They did a nice little shower box over here. This is nicely done. Yeah, nice glass, this is good. Now here's something very common with flippers. I'm not gonna call this noob versus pro, but flippers like cosmetics. So check this out. You see this drain right here? See that rust happening underneath? Yeah, they didn't replace the plumbing. Not a surprise. Remember, flips are all about cosmetics. I don't blame them on this. Yes, bathrooms are usually on 20 amp circuits, but you don't need the 20 amp plug for this. Overkill. I actually love when I find spare building material because I can see the stuff they're using. This is a good sign that they used caulking spacers. A lot of people might skip that step. Here's another thing I just don't understand about flippers. People, when they see a flip, they are suspicious of the systems. They're suspicious that things might not work. Watch this. But the finishes are nice. Okay, I like this. So this is nice. You know, they went with the sort of modern brass hardware in here. Nice, soft close, shaker style. They put the crown on top. Very, very nice. Very popular to do the crown on top right now. You know, it's not vented to the outside. I can give them a pass. Obviously, I would have recommended putting the faceplate on that, but whatever, that's not that big of a deal. Now, if you are gonna do a range that has the front controls like this, it's really important to backsplash the back here because it just doesn't look finished otherwise. Dishwasher's all right, could have used some shims, kind of rocks left and right a little bit. Might get annoying, but not such a big deal. Looks pretty clean, looks like they put new copper in, but I did not see any wiring going to the garbage disposal. Actually, I think they forgot a switch for the garbage disposal. This is why I say you should plan your flips and renovations out well in advance and think about everything before you start work, because now that's a pain in the butt. You know, downtown you get stuff like this. Look how beautiful this is. You can almost see the ocean out there. You can see your neighbors out on their patio. I mean, I get it, not for everybody, right? Because you're like, wait a minute, I'm paying this much, and you know, I see a lot of telephone lines, but you know, that's kind of the nature of these older downtown areas. But love the view of the ocean-ish back there. Now you can't see me anymore, and that's, come on, we all know that's the better view. I actually think they did a nice job on the molding here. They kind of left the picture rail up around here. 12-foot ceiling over here, so they broke it apart nicely. It's nice, look how much light comes in here. I really like this. Bright, airy. Ooh, this is a good sign that they actually pulled permits for this renovation, because these are dual pane wood windows, the expensive ones they only wanted to do in the back. Maybe that means the neighbors throw loud parties. Bonk. It's a good sign they went with LEDs right here. It's a good sign they pulled permits again. I like this. Wow, look at this. This is all single slab right here. Wow. That's nice. It's caulked again. Wow, that was expensive. They haven't trimmed out the window yet. But I like this. So that was upstairs. Now let's go in downstairs and see what downstairs is like. So this used to be a basement. That's crazy. I'm really curious to know if this is legal. Honestly, if this is what they're passing off as the kitchen without a stove, you can guarantee this is not a legal studio unit. It has the forced air ducts, but I wouldn't be surprised if those are actually shared with the main house, which means if the top people like it really hot, and these folks don't, oh well. Very nice, very nice. This is super in right now. Very good tile job here. I really, really like what they did. Yeah, see, and they're putting the LEDs in everywhere, these vintage style LEDs. These are expensive. Oh, tricksters. Look what they did. See, Curious Kevin picks everything up and touches things and goes where he's not supposed to go. They slipped with the saw, and so they put that vintage box to cover that up. I guess they were staging it. So question for you, does that make me ethically responsible to put the box where I found it or next to where I found it? And I mean, look, this could just be considered like another bedroom and full bath, sort of another master for somebody, right? In which case it doesn't have to be a legal separate unit. So let's find out where our third potential legal unit is. Oh my gosh. Hello? It smells like part of a garage. Oh, this one didn't get as much love. The door is a reused door. It's a little beat up on the outside. That's okay. The flooring, whew, dang. They really need to leave a window open, let's say that. So this is just a converted unit from the garage. It's the 99-cent laminate. It doesn't have baseboards yet, so they haven't finished the renovation in here. In the listing, they say they spent like $400,000 or more renovating the place. Really curious to see what permits they pulled, because so far I do see a very nice cosmetic renovation. I do like the work they did on the outside of the house overall. They used a flat paint, which is generally a no-no. You usually want to go semi-gloss on that. But overall, it's a nice house. I don't know if they can substantiate this pricing though, because we're not really seeing the legality in the other units here, which I think is what they're going for. Really just little finishes they should really consider finishing, like turning the water on. Things like that though, they'll stop a buyer from buying. Buyers are very fearful of flips. Do not let fearful buyers misunderstand the work you did. None of these breakers are AFCI or GFCI protected. Code today, folks. Code today if you're gonna do a new panel. So what does Kevin do now? Go to the city to check the permits. We're now at City Hall. The house is not too far from here. It's actually like 10 seconds that way. What's up? And yeah. I'm impressed. They pulled the permits for everything. I also checked to see if they're ooh, reindeer. Isn't this cool? I love Christmas decorations. It's so jolly. But yeah, I always like to see that people pulled permits before getting like code violations, because you know, somebody got a code violation and then they pulled permits. It was kind of like, you were trying to get away with it. If you're an investor in real estate, I personally recommend you pull permits, especially if you're going to try to have additional dwelling units, huge, or adding new square footage. Massive importance to pull permits. Also, think about the rental liability that you run into if you don't pull permits. If you don't pull permits and then you get a bad tenant, like an eviction tenant or whatever, what's one of the first things attorneys like to suggest to tenants when tenants are getting evicted and the attorneys are representing the tenants getting evicted? Hey, well, has the landlord done everything to code and legally? You know, are they a legitimate landlord? And the tenant goes down to the city and, oh my gosh, they didn't pull permits for any of the work in the place. They don't have smoke detectors, they don't have this. All of a sudden it makes you look like a noob property manager or noob landlord. Now look, I get it. There's so much of a motivation to not pull permits because it's expensive, it's a headache to deal with. Look, people are like, it's on the inside, the city ain't gonna know about it, I'm doing stuff without a permit. That's fine, but you have to evaluate the risk you're taking with tenant liability, because what do we always talk about on this channel? Making money with tenants. Oh yeah, and remember, if you don't yet follow me on the Instagram, make sure to follow me at @MeKevin. So now that's a little bit of information on permits, but what about flips? Look, if you're buying a flip, first thing I recommend doing is seeing, did they pull permits? Because now you do have that third-party vendor coming in. They got away with that panel by saying they were gonna relocate it, so that might have been the loophole as to why they were able to not upgrade it as much as it should have been for a new panel. But hey, good for them, that's okay, I'm all right with that. So overall, I'm actually pretty comfortable with this house, and they did it well. Which, I mean, that's another new mistake, is let's say you did all this work in 90 days and you didn't pull any permits, nobody's gonna believe you. Now look, should they have the water on? Yeah, but you know, maybe they're still in the middle of doing a repair or something like to that garbage disposal, so I'll give them a pass on that. But think about the impression it makes to buyers when stuff like that happens. You have to be super careful of that, especially on flips, because people are looking for you to trip up on flips. Now let's get some coffee. Now what other lesson do we have? Well look, if you're an investor, be careful flipping right now. It's not the flipping environment. I spent a lot of time last night thinking about, golly, where is the right place to buy real estate? Right now it's one of those things where I'm like, gosh, you know, it's tough because you really, really want to insulate yourself with basically only good deals right now. I mean, that should always be your case. So much of me wants to get on that scale and make a joke, but what if it's like a mine?
Never catch a bandit. Maybe next time.
Anyway, let me give you a quick little thought on my thoughts as far as where to invest right now. I don't think it's big units, mostly because every big unit apartment deal I see right now is getting multiple offers, selling for way over the asking price, and the numbers just don't make sense anymore. Now, in some cases they still make sense, but when they make sense, you have to be careful, because sometimes you have to go collect rent with a gun. You know, people come to me in the real estate investing course and they're like, hey, what about this one? This one's penciling out at like a 14% cap rate. And I'm like, let me do the numbers. And I do the numbers, I go, oh my gosh, it really is. And then I'm like, wait a minute, where is this? So keep that stuff in mind. To me, there's still a play to be had in single families. It's very hard to turn single families into a partnership or a fund though. Very frustrating. If anybody has any ideas on how to turn single families into a fund, like a Meet Kevin Capital, let me know. But yeah, I mean, in the meantime, I'm keeping my eyes open for January, because I think January is gonna be buy time. So stay tuned, let's see what happens. Thanks for watching.